Hello there guys, it's LazyBeast here. Now today's video is a bit different. I want to have some real talk with you about the state of the game and some of the issues that are currently going on. I am feeling a bit burnt out, a bit frustrated with the game currently, so I just wanted to talk about that and have a discussion with you guys and see if you guys reflect my frustrations and if you feel the same. This isn't a piece just raging about the game, but I am frustrated and I wanted to see if you guys echo my thoughts. So let's break down exactly what's going wrong in the game right now. We've had yet another patch, 11.1.5, which has been a bit of a botched mess initially. It's brought with it a lot of bugs, it's been a bit disappointing. We had three major things promised as part of the patch. We had the Nightfall event and the Flames Radiant scenario. We had the Dastardly Duos event, and we also had the Horrific Visions revisited, a sense of repurposed content there. Those three things in themselves would have been enough to fill this patch quite nicely. However, as is typical Blizzard fashion, these are going to be spaced out all the time. So first of all, the patch launched with just the Nightfall scenario, which is a very brief thing to add to a patch. We also got some other balancing fixes and those kind of things, and the addition of the cooldown manager, there's issues there as well. So many bugs. I was actually on holiday when this patch launched, but I was checking in on Reddit and other locations, and all I could see was basically bug reports and frustrations from the player base. This isn't how a patch should be when a patch goes out. We should be happy that we've got new content, so why is it always this frustrating, buggy mess? So what went wrong? First of all, as is tradition now with these events that Blizzard implement, like the Nightfall scenario, the Dig event that we had in Dragonflight, the Time Rift Zone, I forget what it was called now, Time Rifts from Dragonflight as well. When these things launched, it's always a massive lag fest. There's always usually bugs, reward acquisition is a bit squiffy, and that was the same with the Nightfall event. For a lot of people, the end boss just was not spawning. It was technically impossible to complete this event, which is, if you're launching a patch and that is your main thing that people can go and do, it's just embarrassing to launch in a state like this. Sorry to say it, but that is the truth. Blizzard should be able to do better at this point. It's not like it's the first time this has happened. So the second thing that was implemented at the beginning of the patch, the second standout thing, was the cooldown manager. So okay, fair enough, Blizzard attempting to improve the base UI to basically cover weak auras in a sense, in terms of things that are combat focused. But again, this implemented in a decent state. However, it made awkward changes to things like the personal cooldown resource manager thing that people have. You know, you got your health bars and your resource display, and sometimes that had buffs that showed on top of that as well. Personally, I didn't use this, but a lot of people did. Now, since the cooldown manager was implemented, those just got turned off for no apparent reason. Obviously some kind of crossover bug going on there, but a lot of people were a bit disheartened to find that their UI had changed for the worse as a result of this new feature, which again shouldn't be the case. These things should be picked up in testing. But that has since been fixed. It just shouldn't have happened in the first place. There's some other weird things going on as well. Outlaw rogues. If you play Outlaw, you'll be aware that the damage of that spec and class has been much less than it should be because of some weird interactions going on with the talents and the hero talents. Imagine you're just happily playing through the patch, midway through the season, and all of a sudden your class just doesn't do the damage it's supposed to do. What the hell? Like, how is that an acceptable thing to have happen in the middle of a season? Bizarre. Then some other weird things going on as well. Other bugs, for example, or just change things with no explanation as to why. So, monks, Zen Flight. You could use Zen Flight, you know, just falling through the air. Just as a druid can activate Flight Form, you can activate Zen Flight. And some monks, why not, used to use this for fishing. It's a good idea. Hover over the lake, nice and tranquil and peaceful, and do some fishing while you're using your Zen Flight ability. Brilliant. Not anymore though. That just got taken away. No explanation. Just, nope, not today. No more. Why? Just bizarre. Hopefully this is just an oversight and it will be reverted, because it's just a random, completely unnecessary nerf to a class that had no real benefit. You know, there was no benefit to, oh my goodness, that monk can fish and fly. Who cares, you know? It does make me a bit concerned for druids, because of course they can currently fly around and interact with quest objects, and they can herb and mine. Well, they can herb in flight form, they can mine, obviously got instant flight form. So will that be nerfed at some point without any explanation as to why? Better not be, because you're going to have a lot of angry players if that does happen. Fix the monks, fix Zen Flight. And another weird thing as well is, do you know how sometimes when you open your world map and there's a little sparkle on where you're currently located so you can find yourself nice and easily amongst the mess that sometimes is the world map? That's just been turned off. Why? These underlying bugs are so frustrating, and I understand they must be frustrating for Blizzard too, but surely these things will be able to be picked up in testing. Which brings me to another point. People do obviously make the joke of the fact that there's no testing done. We often call the first patch, like the, say, 11.0, that is beta because the expansion launches, and then we find a lot more bugs that should have been fixed during beta or alpha testing. Which is true, of course, and Blizzard has apparently their own quality assurance testers within the testing setup as well. But the trouble is, I think, with the PTR is unless you're going on there to, like myself, get some content or information to make content about, there's not really much benefit to you doing so. Yes, potentially if you are a raider, you can go in there and try some of the bosses and get a bit of a early look, so you're more prepared going into the new season. Or if you want to push keys, you can try some of the new dungeons, the new affixes. So there's a slight benefit there, but most of the time for players, it's a waste of your time to go there and test, especially if people don't report bugs when they're on the PTR, beta or alpha. I just feel like the testing phase of this game could be greatly improved. Other things went wrong as well, such as the rewards from the event. So you got the Nightfall scenario, which I believe is working as it's intended to now, nearly 5 days to a week later. Now, there used to be some title rewards from this, there still is, but there used to be far more. I believe there were 7 or 8 titles you could get from the different ranks of reputation, but now there's only 2. You've got Sentry, which is a bit meh, let's be honest, and then you've got Sacred Templar, which is the reward for getting the Flames Radiance to the level 10 renown, which is the max, but it's stuck behind a big massive grind. It's going to take a long time to get there, which us WoW players are accustomed to, but again, why take away all the intermittent title rewards? It's just unnecessary. Why? And also with the white recolors of the weapons. Now, initially when I tested this on the PTR, they were available from the vendor, which sells the white armor transmogs. They were just there, nice and simple. You could buy them with one of those tokens of commendation or whatever they're called. But they got taken off quite early on in PTR testing, and now I believe they are just a random drop chance from the bags for completing the event. So again, just adding more layers of RNG and frustration to players' ability to acquire these rewards. We waited for this patch. I even did a video about, patch 11.1.5 is huge and like all the new things coming, was quite looking forward to the patch. And then of course Timegating came in again and just trampled all over the fun. Now, you've got to understand it, and I'm sure many of us logical players do, reasonable people, that Blizzard wants to keep us playing, steadily, logging in either each day or at least once a week to get content done. But from a business perspective, of course it makes perfect sense, but from a player, don't you feel like you're just on a bit of a treadmill, just a bit of a, a grindy trot forward through all these systems? And I logged in recently, went to Undermine, and I've been working on getting one of the cartels specifically up to max renown so I can get the colour for the car. And I logged in, and I just saw the same world quest again, and I just thought, you know what? I'm not doing it again. I don't want the reward that bad. I don't want to keep repeating the same content over and over again. So I'm gonna get into a bit of a rant now, so I'm gonna stop right there. And then we've got the whole diner system confusion, the puzzling cartel chips. Initially, they were supposed to be on the Galadriel Loyalty Rewards Club Renown track from the raid. That's a hell of a mouthful. But they were quickly taken off there and replaced with other rewards. And then there's since been bits of confusing information going out as towards the implementation of these things. And now it seems like they mainly focused on Mythic Raiders as a sort of bad luck protection for those guys. No real benefit to Mythic Plus players or people that don't raid. So it's going to be one of those things again that people look forward to, and then it turns out the attitude will be, well, what's the point? It only benefits a few players in the community, not everyone as a whole. So we still don't know exactly how those are going to be implemented, but we're just going to be left guessing. It's just not a good look, is it, for this kind of scenario? So personally, with the game, as you can tell from this video, I'm just quite frustrated with things at the minute. It seems like the only good thing we've got to look forward to, which isn't being messed up, is player housing, but we of course do have a long wait for that, and there's still time for them to cock that up completely. Let's hope that doesn't happen. I've got high hopes for player housing, feel like it's going to be a brilliant feature. The articles that we keep getting dripped to us, again, more and more information comes to light as the weeks go by. It seems brilliant, absolutely fantastic so far what we've seen from that system. So Blizzard, please don't balls that one up, and can we please try and get patches that come out with less annoying bugs, you know. Bugs will happen, but does there really need to be this many bugs? Every single time a patch comes out, I'm personally going in there thinking, right, what's going to break? That shouldn't be the case. Let's get it right. So let me know in the comments how you feel about the patch and the game currently. Am I overreacting, or do you feel the same way as me? Share your thoughts. I do read through all the comments and I will reply in due course. The reason, of course, why I make this video is because I care about the game. I've been playing it for a very long time, and I want to see it do well, and I want to see new players come to the game and enjoy it. I want to see the old players respected with their time, which there have been some improvements to make as well. But putting out these buggy patches constantly, it really is embarrassing for the game. So I hope Blizzard can sort things out and get this right going forward. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been LaserBeast, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.